So welcome to the 𝗵𝗵 miniedu. So in this 𝗵𝗵 miniedu series, we bring you fresh insights from top industry leaders and payments professionals. So my name is Charlotte Al Usta. I'm a principal at Flagship Advisory Partners, a boutique consultancy for payments and fintech.
Why this topic matters.
Small and medium-sized merchants still heavily rely on banks for business payments today. But banks oftentimes fall short in terms of service quality and technical enablement, and that's in particularly the case as it comes to integrating into CFO business management software. So the concept of embedded finance is by now relatively well known in C2B verticals, but less so in the context of B2B payments.
What will be covered in this episode?
So in this episode, we will take a closer look at the embedded finance opportunity within the B2B context and discuss why we see UK and European CFO SaaS as a next battleground for embedded fintech.
What are the key insights?
So we define the CFO software landscape across 7 different segments. So that includes accounting, payroll, accounts payables, receivables, FP&A, e-invoicing, and spend management. And so what we observe is that the CFO landscape for software is highly fragmented. So firstly, because within one segment, you have multiple type of providers solving for different needs. And payroll being a really good example. If you look at payroll SaaS, you have software that is specifically solving for employee payroll, for contract worker payments, early wage access, etc. Secondly, localization also plays a huge role. So localization requirements adds another layer of complexity and is leading to an even more fragmented vendor landscape. And that's holds specifically true in the UK and in Europe. The needs of business management software for CFO differs by merchant size segments. So to begin with, micro and small SMBs in Europe typically have very basic financial needs. So they're seeking for a bundled offering that includes, accounting, tax management, invoicing, payroll. And these smaller businesses often prefer a one-stop shop solution. For instance, what we've seen is that a lot of accounting SaaS providers actually expanded their services to integrate payroll and e-invoicing capabilities directly into their platforms. When we look at mid-sized SMBs, on the other hand, they have more sophisticated requirements. So they often need a specialized solution to manage more complex operations. For example, account payables, account receivables, spend management. And so these businesses tend to partner with more specific providers that offer more advanced functionalities. And that is also, as I mentioned before, leading to a fragmentation of the vendor landscape. When we look at mid-sized businesses or larger SMBs, these have even more complex needs and are requiring highly specialized CFO software to manage, a more extensive need of financial solutions. And these businesses prefer unbundled offerings. They're really opting for best-in-class products which are specifically tailored to their business needs. And so, for instance, they might use one platform for accounts payable, another one for expense management, really ensuring that each tool is specific to its purpose. Now, despite in the growth of CFO business management software adoption, it's still very common for the majority of European SMEs to actually rely on banks as a default solution for all their B2B payment needs. So we conducted a survey across key European markets in 2022, which also included the UK. And we found out that more than 85% of European SMBs are still depending on their bank for payments. Another survey in the UK showed that 89% of SMBs are actually considering switching from their banks, and that 44% of SMBs are dissatisfied with traditional banking services. So high card transaction fees, slow payments, that take between 2 and 5 days, lengthy reconciliation processes, manual processes. On average, we estimated that businesses are spending around 3.6 hours per week on reconciliation alone, as well as access to finance, i.e. lending, are key pain points for SMB business today. And this is why CFO SaaS platforms embedding fintech solutions, have a competitive advantage. So winning CFO SaaS platforms are not only addressing these pain points, but they're really transforming and simplifying the way SMBs manage their finances. And so by embedding fintech services directly into the software workflows, platforms really offer seamless integration between financial management and their back office. And so the evidence of fintech expansion into accounting SaaS is probably one of the most mature segments. So again, while we see the pay-ins being relatively mature in the C2B verticals, embedded B2B pay-ins and payouts within European accounting platform are less mature today and less mature than what we see from our American counterparts. So in the US, based on our study, we estimated that 88% of accounting platforms already integrate embedded fintech services. So think about pay-ins and payouts. And what's particularly interesting is that pay-ins and payouts, especially in the US, are equally interesting from a monetization perspective. When we look at Europe, we estimate that around 30% of European accounting platforms, again, on a sample of around 100 accounting platforms that we looked at, offer embedded B2B payouts today. Embedded B2B pay-ins are slightly more mature, and we estimate that around 50% of the platforms are already offering such solutions. What we also observe is that accounting software embedded payments is comparatively more mature in the Nordics. And that's really due to the fact that you have better integration with real-time account-to-account payment networks. And you also have closer partnership with banks. In the UK, France, Benelux, it tends to be more domestic, provider-led. And so integrated payouts, for instance, is less mature. Beyond accounting, what we also observe is payroll SaaS also evolving into the direction of embedded fintech.
Why should we act now?
And so based on our research, we estimated that the UK is really leading the space within Europe. You have France, Belgium, Germany that is trailing slightly lower levels of embedded fintech. It's around 15% in France and 33% in Germany. But what we observe is that embedding finance into payroll SaaS is also highly lucrative. So most of the mature use cases within that segment would include domestic, but also the international payments. And again, keep in mind that international payments are highly lucrative because of the FX margins. Other CFO SaaS segments would also include, spend management and other commerce front-end SaaS are also advancing highly rapidly as it comes to embedding finance. As CFO SaaS platforms, embed these fintech capabilities, they increase customer stickiness, increase loyalty. At the same time, they do not only enhance the overall value of their product, but also generate significant top-line growth. And that's already something that we've seen in the US. So winning SaaS CFO platforms have demonstrated a huge and significant amount of top-line growth success by actually embedding finance. And you have multiple examples. So for example, you have Intuit, which is a leading account platform. You have AvidXchange, AP automation platform, now generating 70% on embedded finance from their revenues. And another very well-known example is Bill.com, which is an AP/AR automation platform generating 73% of their revenues from fintech.
What are the key takeaways?
So the shift towards embedded fintech in the European CFO SaaS space is accelerating. And we believe that this is really the next battleground for embedded fintech. So as I mentioned at the beginning, the concept of embedded finance is more known in the C2B space, but it's really unfolding in the B2B space as well. And so that could be like through accounting, payroll, spend management platform, and other core SaaS segments within CFO business management software. But we believe that there's a massive opportunity to embed fintech directly into these workflows and really providing value where banks today are falling short. So the European landscape is ripe for transformation. And that has also been evidenced by, an increase in M&A activity in the space. So thank you for listening to this mini edu episode, part of the MPE 2025 conference, which is happening in Berlin on March 18 to 20.